I'll just like do that and then
I'll be
delete it.
back in a second.
Hey,
Don't worry, I'll be back.
cool. Right as I start the live stream. So, hello everyone. So we're about to start around 8 o'clock, and then my son started crying, and then we decided we would start, and now Carl's had to leave for some reason. So, hey ho, we'll get started eventually. So, toasting with another Italian beer, which you can't see because of this stupid immersive view. There we go. Yeah, right. Hello, Owain. So we're about to start, and then my son started crying, so I had to go and deal with him because no one else is in. And then I hit start, and then Carl had to leave. So we will start in a moment. Hello, Carl.
Hello.
Owain's in the chat.
Oh, hi, Owain. I like that Owain's here before I am.
Yeah. I mean, that's not surprising. Can you frame yourself better, please?
Yes, I've just done it. Jesus Christ.
So this hopefully will be one of the last podcasts where I'm on this terrible internet connection.
Are you getting new internet?
Yeah, I don't know. Fairly soon, hopefully. I'm going full fiber. I'm getting so fed up with this rubbish internet. So
yeah, the irony being that I live in back end Kerry and I have full fiber.
Yeah. Yes.
Except I'm not. Do you know what?
Is yours fiber to the cabinet
Cat
or fiber to the
everywhere.
house? Is it fiber to the cabinet or fiber to the house?
No, fiber to the house. Oh, but I don't. But then it then goes onto a dodgy Wi-Fi system.
Oh, amazing! Cool.
Which is Sky's Wi-Fi, so it should be pretty good. But it's silly that Killian's playing YouTube. Not playing YouTube. Playing. Oh no, I'm on the wrong internet. That's probably why. I might go and come back. So I'm sorry.
Cool. All right. This live stream is going really well.
Yeah. Well, I'm just going to jump internet and still here.
All these people with 2 internets, honestly. Give me 2 internets, barkeep, and hold the olives. Well, I'm on 19 megabytes per second, or megabits per second, with the promise of at least 54. So, fuck you, BT. I'm leaving you after like 20 years.
I remember you saying, I'll never leave BT.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, you went with review in the end?
Yeah. Different. Have you switched your internet over now?
Yes.
Cool. So should we get going?
I'm just doing a speed test.
Yeah.
I'm on 35 download.
Yeah, you get double what I get at the moment.
40, 42. Let's think about it. 42 download and 22 upload. And Killian is currently playing Fortnite next door.
Yeah, well, you get
upload.
Even with that, you're getting double what I get.
Yeah. There we go.
Right. Yes, Owain, the podcast is all about you, even though you're not even on it. Right. Let's get this started, shall we?
You being my podcast. Jesus.
This is the correct time.
Taken the checkered flag to win.
I don't know what you're on about.
That was absolutely brilliant. No, Sergio Perez is giving it everything. Oh no, Mike, that was so not right. Goes Leclerc, through goes Hamilton. Unbelievable stuff. And into each other goes Valtteri Bottas.
Took out
And at the back, that's George Russell out of this race. Daniel Ricciardo makes contact there with Kevin Magnussen, and there's a second contact.
Hello, that that was far too loud. I couldn't hear a thing that you were saying
No.
in the background.
Yeah.
I also
No,
did forget to press record, so I
that's
hit
what I was
record.
saying. Well done. You press record.
Yeah, but that's fine because I remembered halfway through the start sequence, and because the Zoom audio is so terrible, I always replace the start sequence with clean audio anyway, so it doesn't actually matter.
There you go.
So, hello, how are you?
Good. I love it. Yeah, Dave Paulson has gone on and said, so this is what the start looks like. Yeah, it's always a mess.
Yeah,
I've run out of the room.
As far as podcasts go, this is the 2012 start of the Belgian Grand Prix, which was topical. As that was the last. That's topical, as that was the last time that we had a driver banned for a race, like we did in this race, and that was Romain Grosjean. So, I've had a shunt of my own. I've got a lovely little red mark at the top of my head. You can probably see just there.
I didn't even notice.
Yeah, that was yesterday morning. I picked my watch up off the charger because that's what we do nowadays. We charge our watches overnight, and I dropped it because of my damn carpal tunnel. And then I bent down to pick it up and forgot that right next to my bed is a chest of drawers, and I headbutted the corner of the chest of drawers.
Yeah, and how long's that chest of drawers been there? Good couple of years.
Yeah, and I was just in bed going, oh, I thought to wake my wife up.
I might need to go to the hospital.
Yeah, I might need medical attention.
That's the one. I might need medical attention.
Yeah, that was New Year's when I headbutted a toilet seat and split my nose open. Yay!
Your eyelid, wasn't it? Was it your nose?
Okay. No, it was my eye. It was just above my eye. No, my nose was when I was hitting a bin outside a nightclub in Reading.
Yeah. Funny.
Everyone was calling me Bin Laden afterwards.
Yeah. Jesus.
Don't drink and pod, kids.
Yes. Oh,
I have a swig of my definitely Italian beer. Birra Moretti. Other Italian beers are available, like Peroni, which is actually nicer but more expensive. Hello, everyone. Right. We should probably do a podcast. My son is currently asleep upstairs. I'm the only one in the house. This is a very dangerous time to do a podcast.
It's like that thing, I'm playing with fire.
Yeah, which is, I'm just like, don't worry, he's a good sleeper. It's fine. We'll podcast. He won't wake up. And then before we even started, he woke up. So let's see how this goes. The live stream might be even more of a mess than it already is.
Yeah.
We may just have massive long pauses in the live stream when I go off and deal with him, or it might be perfect. So let's wait and see. I'm going to let you talk now because I'm about to burp.
Nice. So we had the lovely. Why? You know what? My live stream's not working because I haven't pressed play. We had the lovely Italian Grand Prix this weekend, which isn't lovely. It's really annoying, and there's nothing wrong with nightclubs in Reading. I just want to clarify that.
I'm waiting in the chat saying a nightclub Reading can't think of anything worse.
Q was great. Was it Q? Where was the walkabout?
This was
Sorry. Like, yeah, no, this is not anything to do with the podcast.
No, this was like before Reading got all kind of gentrified and had loads of really good nightclubs. This is when the only places to go in Reading were it was the Walkabout.
Walkabout was still great. Even when
it was the Walkabout, Utopia.
Fuck
it was
me,
the Walkabout, Utopia, and RG1s. That was the only three nightclubs.
Did Utopia turn into Q?
Utopia was like way out of town. That's where we were. It was a night that Keith Flint was there, obviously before he died. But yeah, it was a horrendous club.
Right. Why is this not working?
I don't know.
Play. And then
we're in the podcast now. We can't start playing around with tech stuff now.
Yes,
we need to talk about Formula One at some point.
We have to. Because I'm bored of Formula One. I'm bored of McLaren being dicks. I'm bored of, like, they're dick of the day. I'm just want to clarify that. They're just getting classified as dick of the day without even starting off. You know.
Brilliant.
There it is. Straight in. Dick of the day as McLaren.
We will get into that, I'm sure.
Okay, well, what do you want to get into first? How weirdly good Ferrari were because they fudged the system, or how shit and annoying McLaren were? Well, not shit, but how good and annoying McLaren were.
Let's start at the top and work our way down, shall we? Let's do it old-fashioned style. So,
God, are we actually going to review this? Fucking hell. Okay, grand. Let's do this then. I suppose we've got the word review in our fucking title.
Yeah, we want to change it to something else, a bit more derogatory.
Any suggestions?
Yeah, so we're thinking something like pylon, but that would be too much like pylon, so we can't do that. Something like not analysis, like dissection is too professional. It needs to be something like we're tearing it apart and having a go at it. Focus on the negative. So, to quote a musical, there we go. So we'll start at the top then. Charles Leclerc, Ferrari, just Ferrari in general. Yeah, both went for the one stop and it works. Like looking at the way that the past
Should it have worked though?
10 Grand Prix have gone in Italy, though the one stop is the one that normally works. But with the new tarmac, asphalt, sorry, it's not a brand. It just throw it up, and McLaren they've got a weakness on their left front. They weren't able to one stop.
I mean, look how mad and mashed up those tires. I know that's after collecting a shitload of marbles.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Jesus.
But I mean, it's so I'll quick look at my report. Yeah, so everybody who one stopped
You have a report.
improved their position.
Yeah.
So the one stoppers were well, Sainz equaled his position. So it was Leclerc, Sainz, so Sainz was neutral. Alex Albon, actually, he finished where he started, to be fair. But he was probably...
Which is shocking for Williams. They normally go back.
Yeah, hang on. No, I'm looking at the finish. I need to look at the... Yeah, oh no, sorry. I'm looking at the wrong numbers here. Yeah,
great.
So
well done.
Sainz did improve. Sainz improved one position. Alex Albon stayed where he was. Magnussen improved 3 positions. Colapinto improved 6 positions with a one stop. Ricardo did go backwards, but he had a couple of penalties, so that doesn't really count. Esteban Ocon is shit, so we don't care. He still gained 1 position though. Bottas gained 3. Yeah, so everybody who did one stop gained positions, and potentially everyone that did a 2 stop may have lost positions. We got the McLarens losing positions. Hamilton gained, so driver of the day. There we go. Max Verstappen gained 1 place on a 2 stop. Russell lost 4. Perez stayed where it was.
So, right, go on then. So we're starting us up. So Ferrari deserved the win?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's... I still think... Oh, we'll get into it.
I think Charles did a great drive. He was 4th in the grid, was he?
Charles started 4th, yes.
And ended up 1st. So, fair play on him. Even if he was the strategy, he made up a lot of places in there, not purely on strategy, but on skill as well.
Yeah, I mean, he beat Russell because Russell went in the back of Piastri, broke his wing, went off track. And then, so Leclerc's up to 2nd place before we even get to turn 3.
Yeah.
Which we'll probably get into that as well when we talk about McLaren. But you can't fault his race. It was near perfect. All he needed was like a mistimed safety car that knocked him back a few places, and then for him to recover to win to get a perfect 10. I think I've only given 1 perfect 10 in my driver ratings in the last 4 years. So I think
he did a great drive, and
he was a top 9. He was like a 9.9. Like the only, as I said, he just did everything perfect.
He drove that race. I mean, I think given another 3 laps, he would have been out of it. But had there been another 3 laps, then I think he would have gone in for the 2 stop and still won.
I think 2 stop he wouldn't have won.
I think
the only way he wins that race,
the only way he wins that race by extra laps is what I'm saying, where everyone's disadvantaged as much.
Right. Well, I think the way the race panned out, he not lucked into, but he took advantage brilliantly of Norris offline in turn 2, thanks to Piastri's overtake. And that set up his race. That made his race because he had something to hold on to there. Norris was compromised in dirty air for the rest of the stint. Undercut him to get ahead, but then compromised the rest of his race because of that. So then Leclerc, you would say the one mistake Ferrari made was bringing him in so early. He could have gone longer, but he was able to keep going. And he'd been coached a lot on the radio by his engineer, but it was amazing. Like he just did so well. So
okay, then props to the engineer as well. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously between the 2 of them, they made that work. Yeah,
analyzing the data, telling him where he can improve, and it was just a really good example of teamwork. So I must hold up the beer coaster for Charles Leclerc. Hang on, let me hold it in front of me so it doesn't disappear. There we go. Well done, Charles Leclerc.
And I mean, Sainz didn't have a bad race either.
Yeah, I thought Sainz would be the one that would make the one stop work because he went longer on the tyres. And I thought he was going to have more pace at the end, but he didn't. That's another thing that made Leclerc's race so good, that Sainz with a better tyre offset.
And Sainz being a bit of a tyre whisperer anyway.
He finished 15 seconds behind Leclerc. and he had better tires. It was a really I can't use any more superlatives for Leclerc. Stunning.
No, fair play on him, and I think.
Let's move on to McLaren.
Yeah, before we move on to McLaren, Owen saying vivisection. What the fuck is a vivisection?
Don't know.
I feel like that's something that we should know. I know the fact that we don't even know what it means. What it means? What the hell was I just saying there?
Ziggy, what's a vivisection?
From fandom.com. Viper is a section.
No, that's not why I asked. Ziggy, stop.
Have you called your Alexa Ziggy?
It's the one that's in the
As
office.
in Ziggy Stardust.
No, the one that's you have a choice of names. The one that's in the office is called that Z word because it was on Emily's account, so we gave it a different name so we didn't confuse them.
But you can name them whatever you want, can't you?
I think so. I don't know how, but no, you can. Anyway,
vivisection. The practice of performing operations on live animals for the purpose of experimentation or scientific research.
Shit got dark, Owain.
Wow. Yeah.
No, we're not going to call it that.
Who's our live animals?
We're not gonna call it that. Okay.
No. I wish I didn't even Google that now.
Well, that's your search history screwed. Like earlier when Emily was Googling serial killers earlier. She's got a bit of an obsession with them. Yeah. So
I mean, she doesn't work for the Garda or anything, does she? It's fine.
What's going on? What's Ziggy saying now? Go away. Don't care. Right. Anyway, so McLaren then. I'm guessing you've got some things to say about McLaren.
Look, I love McLaren. I love Lando Norris. I love Oscar Piastri. What the fuck? Sorry, I'm gonna there's little times where Will Butler. No. Is that Will Butler? Is that the right guy?
I don't know who you're talking about. What?
Who's the guy from F1 that does the
Will Buxton?
To finish, Will Buxton, that's the one. Butler. Where did I get that from? Will Buxton, where Will Buxton talks the truth. And he's just like, what is going on with McLaren? Like, it makes no fucking sense what they're doing. I'm going to add some swear words into what he said and paraphrase, but it makes no sense in what they're doing. Why this whole fucking papaya rules? What? That's just the stupidest fucking thing I've ever fucking heard. Like, who needs papaya rules? It's called Go Racing, not papaya fucking rules. What's the papaya fucking rules? Who rules? Papaya's a fucking color of fruit. Anyway, I'm gonna get shouted at by the wife now for shouting. I'm waiting for the text. It will come through. But Jesus, like, what is wrong with people? Like, what is wrong with McLaren? What are they trying? So obviously, there must be some agreement in.
Papaya rules is their rules of engagement. That's what that is.
It's bullshit. It's just like calling it McLaren rules. It's called racing. It's fucking racing. That's all they're doing. There's no rules of engagement.
It's obviously something they've come up with to kind of just be
to
like
kind of make themselves hip and.
Well, no, they just it's
wanky.
like they say it over the radio.
But everyone knows what it means, so it's just like saying
no. It's not saying, a code. I just mean like
plan A or plan B. We all know what it fucking means.
When they're talking to the drivers, if they're debating something, if they just go no papaya rules, they're like, oh yeah, you're right, okay, fair enough. It's like what was it? There's a TV program.
It's a bit like Hammer Time. They're trying to say Hammer Time.
Yeah, it's probably something a bit like that.
Yeah.
I can't remember. There was like a sitcom where the protagonists had a code where one of them would say like, was it 100 push-ups? It was Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It was like, Peralta was like 100 push-ups. To Rosa, that means it's 1,000 push-ups. It's like, that means like I'm absolutely certain about this. I think it's something like that where they just say that and then it's code for like you have my word. It's like that kind of thing. It's their rule, and if they say that means you have to follow it because these are the rules that you've all signed up to. Yeah, that kind of thing. But
what are the rules they were signed up to?
We don't know.
It doesn't matter.
We don't know. But
fucking race.
Apparently, Stella said, I didn't hear this, so I can't quote where it came from. So I'm sorry for not quoting it. But apparently, after the race, Stella said that they need to look at the move from Piastri to see if it breached their papaya rules or not. And I think what that probably means is you're not allowed to. You're not allowed to inconvenience the car ahead. I'm assuming it's something like that because my take on it is that if you're Piastri and he hasn't broken any team rules, then I've got absolutely no problem with what he did. That's, he's got his own race. He doesn't give two shits about Lando Norris's World Championship hopes. All he cares about is winning races and helping the team win the constructors.
Yeah.
So by making that overtake, he did inconvenience Lando in that Lando had to get out of the throttle and he had to, but it was a great overtake, don't get me wrong. But it did inconvenience him, and then he lost the car a little bit. Could say driver error, which allowed Leclerc through. It was a high-risk maneuver with very little reward at the end of it. It was on lap 1. Leclerc was in very close proximity. If you do that with a 2 or 3 second gap to the car behind, there's absolutely no problem whatsoever with that from a team perspective, because it's clean, it's concise, and it doesn't matter if the other car is knocked back a little bit. But that unraveled the entire race for McLaren. I genuinely believe if Piastri didn't make that overtake, McLaren wins that race and probably gets a 1-2.
Yeah, absolutely, because Lando would have got fresh air and Piastri would have followed him after. Like, it just, like, I get that you go racing. Absolutely.
I'm just gonna mention Dave Paulson's comment there. He's saying, "Are we calling out teams for not giving team orders now?" I don't think we are. I don't know what your take on it is. I am absolutely not calling out McLaren for not giving team orders. I just think there should be rules of engagement, which there clearly are, and then you let them race within that set parameters. I'm not saying team orders. At no point, people were saying, "Oh, well, Oscar should have let Lando through because he's better in the closure in the championship." Absolutely not. That's
hang on. Absolutely, they should have. And they
allow them to race at the start of the race and then say swap back at the end of the race.
No, sorry,
that's just causing unnecessary.
Okay. I sort of get that. I think
they either race or they don't.
And Piastri was far enough ahead, but there was no reason for Oscar to do that overtake in the third corner 3. I think it was, wasn't it, or 4?
Apart from the fact he's trying to win a motor race.
But it doesn't, but it's not, sorry. I am sorry, but Formula One is a team sport. And I get, we all have our favorite drivers. Lando is my favorite driver.
My favorite as well. And I'm defending Piastri here.
I know. I completely understand that. But it is a team sport. And the finances come in by winning the team championship, which I understand at this particular point, they were in the same stead as if they swapped the cars around. But that sponsorship is also increased when your driver is winning championships, in the sense of McLaren, fucking hell, Red Bull. You know, one of their team drivers is absolutely shockingly shit. The other one is a multiple world champion who is going to win it again at this present time. But the sponsorship and the money comes from him being a world champion. If Lando can get into world championship points, which he can't at the moment, it seems absolutely pointless to bother. Like, is it just that they want the constructors championship and that's it?
So
but if they still do, they still shouldn't be driving.
The Constructors' Championship is the teams will always say it's what they value the most, because that's where all the team bonuses come in as well. So the team as a whole will prefer the Constructors' Championship. The driver and probably the higher ups would prefer having the kudos of having the world champion. Like Red Bull absolutely proved that in 2021 when they proved they didn't care. They couldn't care less about the Constructors' Championship. They just wanted to get Max Verstappen that first world championship. So that's been proven that at the top, they would rather have a world champion than a Constructors' Championship. But when you're a team like McLaren, who've not won a Constructors' Championship since 1998, that's before Oscar Piastri was born, it's something that they very much need to do for the team and for the morale of the team as well. So I get that.
But
I understand.
But this is now, okay, absolutely need to get the constructors in. But also, keeping Lando happy, surely, and as Zach Brown's boy, surely they should be keeping Lando happy. He's the world championship driver.
He is right now, but Oscar Piastri in year 2 right now is driving far better than Lando Norris was in year 2.
Yeah.
So you could say that Piastri has got...
But also Piastri has a better car than Lando Norris.
No, but I'm saying his driving is better. he is driving at a very similar level, not as consistently.
No.
I think his peaks now are higher than Lando's peaks in year 2,
Yeah.
and he was
And his
more
troughs aren't as
consistent.
big.
He's
Yeah.
more consistent than Lando was in year 2.
Yeah.
He's nowhere near as consistent as Lando Norris right now, and he doesn't have the same overall speed as Lando Norris.
Yeah.
But on occasion, probably 30% of the time, he can race him. How many times this year have we said, "Oh, Oscar's looking just as good as Lando, if not better," and then the next race he's nowhere near it?
I do agree. I think it was a bit of a shitty, because he would have got into the same position had he not gone down the side of Lando by the end of the race. If he had just held tight, he would have always ended up second if Lando ended up first. I have every strong understanding of that.
Yeah,
because I don't think
that
Ferrari would have gone one. I don't think Ferrari would have gone for a one-stopper.
No, because they wouldn't have had anything to hold on to.
Yeah.
They would have been too distant. And Lando's tyre management is generally better than Piastri, but that McLaren can't follow. We've seen that
Oscar
before.
did was very immature and rookie-ish, was going for his own race, fucking over not only himself, but the team as well, and gaining nothing. He gained nothing from
for him, the only thing, the reason that it wrecked his race was because I don't think he had the overall pace to win the race against Leclerc, but I think Norris probably would have done if he was in clear air. So I think Norris pulls Piastri along with him, they have a chance of a 1-2 in that race. My opinion, you call me a fanboy and everything, absolutely fine. But
and just picking up on our own, sorry, just on the
I've not read his comments.
There's a theory that Piastri has a clause preventing him from being number 2 in terms of opportunities. Yes, he does have. I completely. I don't think that's a theory. I think it probably is true. Webber always hated being number 2. He hated that idea. That's probably true. But it's not that he's the second driver. It's that he's fucked over the team and fucked over himself. He gains nothing from doing that. Had he come pole and Lando was in 4th, that would be a different matter. But he didn't.
The way I would do it,
he got past Lando and did not make anything on the opportunity of the Ferrari.
Yeah, and David's put another comment about he likes to prepare rules of engagement. It's still too early. I completely agree. They shouldn't be picking championship favourites right now. But
I agree with that.
But the way I would do it is off the line. You can't choreograph a start because it's so organic. There's so many things going on. You can't have rules for everything. You need to be focusing on your start and not worrying about what's happening behind you. So I completely understand that. So what I would say is drag off the line. That's fine. That you just let that happen as it is. When you get to the breaking point, whoever is ahead, like no arguing, none of this. Oh, we're side by side. Whoever is furthest ahead, when you get to the breaking point, the other person's job then is to protect him from the person behind. So in that situation, there
it should be. And
that's what I thought Piastri had done. That's what I thought Piastri had done because it looked like Norris pulled in ahead of him. He'd got the better start. Piastri got the slipstream, and then he aggressively pulled out in front of Russell and then went around the corner just behind Norris. And I thought, oh, he's protecting Norris. That's really good team play, that. But then going into the turn 2 chicane, he slung it around the outside for the inside line on the second part of the chicane. Yeah. And then Norris had to basically crash or brake. So
and especially when Norris got the pole, I know there's things, and actually Norris didn't have a shit start this time for once. It wasn't great. Actually, both the McLarens were slower off the line than the Mercedes of Russell, but it was fine. Do you know what I mean? So they're both off at the same time. I don't think I just don't know what he was playing at. It was such the saying, bite your nose and spite your face or whatever. It feels like that. Do you know what I mean? Like it didn't make any sense. He didn't gain anything. He didn't gain the team anything. Had he made traction and then got into pole and stayed in pole, that would have been a different story.
I disagree. Like in hindsight, yes, but at that point in time, he took the lead of the race and was in the car that he believed to be the fastest over a race distance. So at that point, he gained first position and the onus to try and win that race.
Yeah.
So I disagree with you there, but then it's the way things panned out. He didn't have the pace to catch him past Leclerc when Leclerc went for the one stop.
But I understand there's no second driver, so I do get that, and I think that is very much a rule. But what is the advantage to Oscar Piastri getting those 3 points compared to Norris getting those extra 3 points.
There's no real benefit at all. It's only
That's
the
the thing.
only beneficiary is Piastri, who right now Piastri
But
20
no, sorry,
points.
but does Piastri gain anything? Like in the sense of is he chasing someone? I don't know what the standings
So
are.
he is currently 20 points behind Leclerc, so he would have been closer than to Leclerc. So he'd been pushing up towards Lando Norris because he's only 44 points behind Lando Norris. So he's closest to Norris, and Norris is to Verstappen.
Yeah.
But and he has picked up the same amount of points of Norris as Norris over the last like 5 races, something like that. I can't tell you exactly how many, but I could actually in the last few races because I've got all the race results up here. So we could have Piastri.
Oh my god, this is so boring, Tom. No one cares about your fucking spreadsheets.
That's just true. Yeah, no one does care about it. So no,
I do feel like it's a bit of a strange one. They need to sit down and have a discussion about what papaya rules is.
I think where they went wrong was not specifying that. I think they said don't race into turn 1. Mm-hmm. So Piastri's like, okay, I'll sling it around the outside into turn 2 then. I think what they need to do is no passing until at least the end of the first lap, and it has to be clean. It can't inconvenience the car in front. I think that's what they need to do. And that's what they should have done. So this is another episode of how did McLaren lose it this week?
Because that's usually the latest thing. And I think
they've won 3 races this year, which, okay, fantastic. That's more races than they've won in a very long time. But in fact, that's more races than they've won since probably about 2012, 2013, maybe. Yeah. So that's, that in itself is a huge achievement. They could have won 6, 7, 8 races this year. They should be leading the Constructors' Championship right now. As it is, they're 8 points behind, which is not a lot.
Let's just clarify something. This was the team that were not that great at the beginning of the season. Their upgrades have improved.
Yeah,
I love that we are complaining about how bad they're doing by being good. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I feel
that's really interesting.
It's amazing but frustrating that they're doing so well, but they're doing so well at throwing it away. Like Red Bull
hang on,
have dropped off a cliff.
Sorry, does that sound like another team that we're currently looking at a picture of that always did that? Do you know what I mean? It was like, it was frustrating. It must have been so frustrating for so many Tifosi watching the red Ferrari of 2 years ago throwing so much away every fucking year. Don't worry, Audi, you've got it coming your way now with Binotto in there. Binotto.
Getting some love for my spreadsheet from Owain there.
No, don't.
You should see it, Owain.
I ignored it. Shit.
It's mental. Shit. I'll show you on Grid Talk one day.
Oh my god!
Every year it gets bigger. Like in about 5 years, it's got about 30 tabs on it.
Oh my god!
Anyway, I can tell you who's winning the Sprint Championship if you want, based on my spreadsheet.
No, don't care.
Verstappen has won all of them.
Right, anyway, I'm bored of talking about.
Yeah, let's talk about Mercedes next.
Mercedes
next. So Russell lost his front wing.
Yeah.
Are you upset?
No.
Okay. And Hamilton recovered pretty well.
I know, but fucked his qualifying.
Yes, he did.
And I don't want to talk about the race and Mercedes. I want to talk about why the fuck they have Antonelli in this car next season. That is the fucking stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard. Why have they put a fucking rookie into that car? That doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, what is wrong with them? Like, at what point do they go, oh, I've got this child. Let me put him into a chair. He's never been in a Formula 1 car, unlike Max Verstappen, unlike lots of other drivers. He's come straight out of F2 where he's doing shit. He's only in 8th or something. Okay, yes, we know Prima are a bit shit, but he's still fucking. Anyway, there is no way you can take this child and put him into a car that's a top car. They are not, unless they're going to not expect anything for the next 3 years, which I hope McLaren aren't. But if they're expecting him to win races, Mercedes, sorry. But if Mercedes are, then they are the fucking biggest idiots on the track. Like, what is their issue? Like, why would you get this child into a cut chair that had never been in it? Well, put them in fucking Williams if they could. Unless James Vowles has probably gone, no, fuck you, we're not your junior driving car anymore. But they need to put him in somewhere. Like, it just seems, put him into a fucking Haas, put him into Audi. It literally makes no sense to put him straight into.
Right. I feel like we need to have some kind of on the record bet here. Owain, you can be our witness. What kind of bet are we going to put on here about Antonelli? Because you think he's going to be awful. I think he's going to
Oh,
be
he's going
great.
to be shocking.
He's not gonna beat George Russell next year.
He's never, for fuck's sakes, the guy in the fucking Williams that's not even got a seat this year has had more chance of driving a car around that track than he has.
What's the bet going to be then? What's the bet going to be? And what's the punishment going to be?
I don't know. You'll have to, I am.
Okay, how about
Antonelli will not finish in the top 5.
I'll take that bet now. I was going to say he'll win a race.
No, he won't finish in the top 5.
Okay, all right, I'll take that. So you're saying Kimi Antonelli will not finish in the top 5 for the entirety of 2025?
No, in the championship.
Oh, in the championship?
Yeah.
All right, I thought you meant in the... I was going to say, okay.
Top 5 in the
top 5. Okay, let me have a think about this. So we've got Verstappen and teammate undecided. I think top 5 might be
Red Bull.
Top 5 might be a stretch. I will agree with that. Top 5 might be stretch. I think we're going to have 4 teams in it next year. So, no, okay. I think we need to go.
Are you bargaining on the top? Go on.
I think top 5 would be tough for him. I think he's probably likely to finish 7th in the championship. I would say he's likely to finish 7th.
Fine. If you think he'll be 7th, I reckon he won't be in the top 8.
Okay. So I'm saying Kimi Antonelli for 7th place or higher in the championship.
Who have you got? You've got 2 Ferraris in theory.
2 Ferraris, 2 Mercedes, 2 McLarens.
No, 1 Mercedes. Let's be honest.
Sorry, yeah, of course, yeah.
He should finish
2 McLarens. Yeah,
he should finish 8th. I don't reckon he'll even make 8th.
Okay, so I'm saying he's going to finish 7th or higher. You're saying 8th or lower.
Yeah.
What's the punishment? What's the bet?
I don't know.
To be confirmed. We'll have a think about it.
But I think why do you rate him? Like, why are you rating him on? Right. Him driving an open wheel car? Like, fuck me. Mazepin has driven an F2. Sargent has driven an F2, did reasonably well. George Russell drove in F2, did well. Ocon drove in F2, won the championship. I might be wrong. Did Ocon win the championship in F2? No, Antonelli hasn't even won an F2. He's in fucking 8th.
Okay, so Antonelli has won an F2, but
no, sorry, not won the season.
No, he's not won the championship. Do you know who else didn't win the championship in F2?
Who?
Lando Norris or Alex Albon, because George Russell won it that year.
Yeah, grand. But hang on, let's go through this. Where did Lando Norris drive before McLaren? Didn't, because he was shit, because McLaren was shit back then. Where did George Russell drive? Oh yeah, he drove in Williams. And who was the other one you said?
Alex Albon.
Oh, he's still in Williams. Yeah. So,
I can only think
I questioned this the other day. Who's been the driver? Who was the one driver that came in to from F2 into Formula One in a race winning car?
Well, Hamilton did when it was GP2. It wasn't.
No, sorry.
It wasn't
sorry.
F2, it was GP2.
Yeah, sorry.
It is very rare. I can't think of anyone that's coming to a car that's not guaranteed, but that's on the pace to win races. No. Leclerc did 1 season in a Sauber.
Yeah.
Verstappen did 1 season and 3 races in Toro Rosso.
Or Toro Rosso, whatever you want to call them. Danny Rick went to.
Danny Rick started at HRT and then went to Toro Rosso.
I think every driver. What about Stroll? Not that he's ever done anything.
Stroll came into a Williams that was on the decline.
Yeah.
He was teammates with Felipe Massa.
So, and there's no one. Ocon, Gasly all came in via other ways. There's no driver.
Generally, they came into like the Toro Rosso type situation.
There's no one that's come in that hasn't been started off in a lower team. And
aside from the statistically the greatest driver in Formula One history, who had a very similar record in fact, Antonelli has a better junior record than Lewis Hamilton. And also Antonelli has done a huge amount of testing.
Did Lewis Hamilton win the GP2?
Yes, he did.
Right. He is in 7th or 8th or wherever he is.
But
he has not done better.
Antonelli has won everything he's entered in the year he entered it. Sometimes
winning for F2.
Sometimes winning 2 or 3 championships within the same year. Hamilton generally took 2 years per championship to win it.
then leave him in F2. There is no reason, right? Okay, there is no reason to put him straight in. Right, do this plan. Leave him in F2 for another year. Let him win the fucking championship. Then come back to me, okay, for that reason. And yes, you're not going to get a driver that just wants to drive for a year. Fine. Put the other guy on a 2-year contract. Leave Antonelli standing by. Put him in the reserve car driver. Give him a few races. Give him a fucking time in the test track. He has had nothing. Like this whole driver program. Yeah, great. But he is trying to...
He's had more time in an F1 car than Max Verstappen had before he came into F1. Quite substantially
in a
more time in
shit
an F1
team. You're not understanding this.
No, what I'm saying is he has driven a competitive... Well, he's driven the 2023 Mercedes a lot over the last 6 months. He has driven an F1 car more than Max Verstappen had before Max Verstappen came into F1.
Grand.
So
not in a race.
So he is more experienced at driving an F1 car.
I can give my fucking 7-year-old my car and drive around a fucking field and it will be just as good. But if we put him on the main fucking road, I will crash. He will crash into every fucking thing. Like, it's pointless. It's not a race.
I'm just scared of the fact that you're talking about Killian driving. That just scares me.
He's nearly 8. I can put him pretty much into my car.
He's
driving
not
around in the field next door.
He's not 8. He's this little picture I've got up here that you can't see because of the stupid background.
He is nearly 8.
He's still a baby. He's still a little tiny baby.
He's 8 in November. But I can put him into a field. Actually, my niece was driving around in a field. She's 10, I think. 9, 10. She was driving around in a field the other day. But if you put them on the road, it's a fucking different story. That's exactly the same with this. That if you put this,
I'm looking forward to your Antonelli rants next year. They're going to be hilarious.
You know what? The problem is I'm going to start hating Mercedes. I can't stand George Russell, and now I've got Antonelli in there who's just going to wind me up even more.
I might buy you a Mercedes hat for Christmas.
It's the only fucking baseball cap I have, ironically, with the Prix on it. Formula One baseball cap I have.
Is it a Formula E one then?
Yes.
So it's a Formula E Mercedes EQ hat.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
It's the only motor racing cap I have. For fuck's sake.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, that's really made me chuckle.
Yeah. So look, you'll enjoy, like, bless George Russell. He's going to be left off the hook because Antonelli's just going to go down. I'm just going to be going, told you so, the whole season.
Okay. Look, he will have bad moments. He'll probably crash the car a couple of times unnecessarily.
They better be ready for it, Mark. He'll take some
unnecessary risks and he'll screw up a few strategies.
Like, what's the advantage of putting him in this car? I don't get it. For another, they could wait for 2 years, get through the 2026 changes, and then put him in the car. Putting him in now and then putting him in, then changing the car the year later. Why?
Experience. It's fine. Why not? They got. I agree. I think that Carlos Sainz would have been the ideal person to put in that car, and I just think that Sainz, if he turned that seat down like it's rumored, I think he's made a big mistake because you've got to back yourself. You put yourself in a car that can win races, put yourself in the shop window, and then in a year's time, yes, you're looking for a seat again, but you've got a few more race wins under your belt. You've equaled George Russell or come close to George Russell or even beaten him. And then you've put yourself in that shop window.
Like, I don't think he's ever going to beat George Russell.
I think he's a quality driver, but I'm just saying that in this world that we live in, where
if I am right, and he is shit, he has fucked his F1 career completely, absolutely.
What, Antonelli?
Completely, yeah. If he's shit in that F1 car, if he is, say he's really bad, he ends up in 15th, 16th, 17th, ends up in the Williams world, or the Haas world. If he ends up with more than 5 or 6 races in that are his fault, not for disasters or whatever. I understand these things happen. But if he ends up in those things, they're going to have the same issue with Checo Perez at the moment that Red Bull have. They can't keep him. They can't get rid of him. But also, where does he go from there? No one's going to take on him who's fucked up a championship driving car. He has one shot at this. If he doesn't do it well in the next season and come within, as we said, the top 8, then he is going to he's really going to lose any cred in the F1 industry. And he's just going to drop like a sack of shit. He will be out within 3 years.
I think somebody else will take a punt on him. So there was somebody that think, oh, if he does do really
But
badly.
sorry, those same people, what, they would take a punt on Mick Schumacher?
I think there'll be somebody that will take a punt.
Where's Mick?
I think there'll be, because at the end of the day, like Ferrari rated Schumacher and then they dropped him and then Haas picked him up and then nobody wanted him after that because it turned out he was shit, which I'd said from day one. But I think with Antonelli, if he does have a bad season or a bad couple of seasons, whatever, he does get dropped. I think there'll be somebody, there will be a team out that will be, do you know what? He showed great potential. He showed great potential and it obviously didn't work at Mercedes. So let's take a punt on him. We've got a space. He'll end up at like an Alpine or something like that. And then he'll either do what Perez did and over time rebuild your career, then get another top seat later on, or he'll just be like Ricardo and just float from team to team.
I do feel like, sorry, I'm just reading David Paulson's comment here. Disregarding Sainz, who else should have got in that seat? That I think that's hit the nail on the head, is that basically Mercedes were fucked, because if they didn't put Antonelli into that seat, who would have gone into that seat? So they had to take the gamble.
Yeah,
I think that's what's actually happened. As much as I don't agree with what's happened, I think there's been so much pressure from Toto that he's put on himself almost to make Antonelli this big hype driver, that he's the most amazing driver, that if he didn't suddenly put him in the car, then there'd be more questions asked. And who else would you put in if Sainz wasn't going to go into that chair?
Well, Ocon still has Mercedes link, so I think he would have asked the question. I don't think I think they're kind of done with him now.
Ocon,
Mick Schumacher was obviously mentioned, but that was never going to happen.
No.
Beyond that,
Magnussen?
No, definitely not. The only other person, I don't know. I mean, they might have sniffed around Albon. They might have looked around Albon, but then he committed to Williams. Because again, it's the narrative.
Albon would have been an interesting and good shot.
Yeah, I would have been up for that.
I think an Albon Russell would have been cool. I think it would have been a decent sort of racing team. I mean, what happened is basically Williams have ended up with the Mercedes drivers for next year.
Yes.
And William for Mercedes have ended up with a ego and a dick and a baby. Sorry, an ego dick and a baby. So grand. Well done, Mercedes. Right. Good luck to anyone that supports Mercedes.
I feel like time's getting on. So should we talk about Red Bull for a bit, and then we'll do our we'll just do a roundup.
So Red Bull are shit. We're not surprised they're shit. Adrian Newey left and everything went to shit. And supposedly Adrian Newey's going to Aston, and Aston have now just signed up a Honda deal, which we all knew about, but surprise. Yeah. I don't know what's going on in Red Bull. I think they're a bit on self-destruct. I think it started again with the whole sexual abuse Adrian Newey thing, and I think he's lost his grasp. Alleged.
It was just a finger. I promise it was just a finger.
Yeah. Alleged. So I don't think I think he's lost. I think Newey, not Newey. I think Horner needs to go. And to recover Red Bull. And Perez needs to go with him, because that's why Perez is still there, because he's a little bum boy.
Allegedly.
But that's the only reason. And the fact is that they are throwing away the championship. I do have a conspiracy theory, though.
Go on.
Which is one that I'm creating. I'm not denying this, and I've not heard anything other than this. But actually, Red Bull do not want to win the championship this year, because they need the extra wind tunnel and everything else for 2026.
I disagree with that, because the difference is not that much. It's not enough to make that much of a difference. It's a small amount. It's not.
But
it's
also
the kind
funding.
It's the kind of thing that will allow you to catch up a bit. It's not the kind of thing that will transform your
but this is about the 2026 car. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah, I know. I don't think it's enough. I don't think it's enough. I think
and
it
I'm
makes a small
sorry, I'm trying to
difference.
find reasons as to why the fuck Perez is
So,
still there and why Max hasn't left.
I mean, I will
can't
admit
find the answers.
the whole Perez situation does baffle me. It absolutely baffles me because like
As I said, bum boy.
they've been in this position for a while, and I don't understand. Look, I'm fine. You know, keep them for as long as you want. I'm well behind this, but like it's been what 4 years he's been there now. He signed in 2021 was his first year, wasn't it? So like he's never been up to it. Realistically, he's never been close enough to Max Verstappen, but they've always just kept him because Max could win the constructors championships on his own effectively. So
which
but now
has been proved wrong now.
yes, but we've been saying for years that they need to change it. So they've brought it on themselves. But I think the car itself has just kind of dropped out of its sweet spot.
Have you heard the latest? Red Bull have put an official complaint against, it might be Merck and McLaren.
It's
Which
McLaren
makes
about the
sense.
front wings, wasn't it?
About the front wings.
Yeah. I saw this
Like,
great.
all I can say is change your fucking car.
I saw this meme. It
I've
said
seen the same one.
was it when I've seen a few actually. It said when Red Bull is fast, Christian Horner, change your fucking car. When everyone else is fast, change their fucking car. And then there's the other one where he's standing over a car with his phone, and then there's like another shot, and it's like a close up on his phone. It's Toto saying, "Change your fucking car."
Yeah. Now, like, I do think it is that. It's like I don't think they're doing anything different. And what they're going to complain? What are they going to find on Ferrari to complain about? Do you know what I mean for winning? Well, they get like
one thing that did make me laugh. Perez apparently came out the other day and said that because Max was complaining about certain things with the car characteristics, and he said Max is now feeling what I've been feeling for the last 4 months. I'm like, okay, what about the last 3 years then?
yeah, which bit have you missed? Also, what I find quite funny is that they're just complaining about. They're just not getting anywhere. They're just complaining about everything, and just I don't know what their thought process is on that car at all. As to, is it that Newey's left and they can't understand the car anymore? It just seems
apparently
it just seems too simple.
Newey was. Oh, you're making me yawn now. Thanks for that.
Yeah, there we go.
Apparently, Newey was very unhappy with the direction they took in the car this year because Pierre Vacher, who's in charge of it all really now, Newey's really just a consultant. He wanted to go a different way to what Newey did, and then Newey wasn't a fan of it, and now it seems to be coming to fruition. So that's quite interesting to see. I hope he doesn't go to Aston. He is going to Aston Martin.
He is going to Aston. Yes.
I'd rather he just let.
Now there's a Honda deal in there guaranteed. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, that was guaranteed ages ago. It's all because he wants to work with Fernando Alonso, but like he's not Fernando Alonso of 20 years ago.
No, but neither is Newey, and he's an old man, and he's just, to be honest, it's a retirement job. That is a retirement job for him. It's a garden job. I mean, he's just going to go there, makes a few pretty pictures, and
he'll
make the car better.
He'll get to make some Aston Martins.
And he'll play around with the new what's it called? Vanquish. Which did you hear that one? Alonso
it broke down.
He broke down. Hello. Welcome to Aston Martin. But like anyway, I think Red Bull are in turmoil. I think they're not going to come back either anyway next year. I can't imagine it. I think Max is on the out of being in the top drivers. I genuinely think that it will be the McLarens and the Mercs next year. I know I put Antonelli down into 7th or 8th, but I think that's going to be the champion. I generally think George Russell will do well next year.
So what you're saying there then, if it's Norris and Piastri taking points of each other, George Russell 2025 world champion confirmed.
But also you're forgetting that you've now got Hamilton and the Leclerc in Ferrari, which is a strong team.
It's a strong team. But
I'm sorry, and then he might be old, but fuck it,
yeah.
I
No,
just
very
think
strong team.
I just think though that day of he's never going to be 7 times world champion. He's never going to
he already is.
7 time. No,
He's already a
Verstappen
7 time.
Verstappen is never
Verstappen.
going to
Oh,
be
sorry.
7-time
I
world
don't know.
champion.
It's too early to say that yet.
No,
It's too early to say that. I think the worst case scenario, he's a 3-time world champion at the end of this year, not a 4-time.
Yeah, I
he's
agree.
still what, 27 or something, 28?
Yeah,
is he now?
But if he's not winning, he's not happy. And
yeah,
that
he
is
won't be
going
in
to be
F1
a
in 15
fast
years.
thing.
He won't
And
be in
that's going to
F1
be
in
a
15 years.
fast fall from grace.
Hmm.
I really think that. And I do worry about Red Bull. If he's not winning, he's just going to implode, and it's not going to be pretty. And he doesn't want to be in the game that long. He's always said that. He said he wants to be out by the time he's 30.
Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out.
Yeah,
it'll be a loss for Formula One because he is a huge talent. But
I agree.
It's nice. It's nice when he's not winning for a change. Give it a couple of years though. We'll be begging for a Max Verstappen win because
absolutely.
If he's not winning, if he doesn't win any more races this year and doesn't win a race next year, we'll all be cheering for him to win a race in 2026. Well, I'll come on, bring back the Max Verstappen dominance.
Yeah, subject to his ego. Anyway, do you want to do a quick rundown of the other teams?
Not really.
Alpine can't be bothered.
Yeah, no, can't be asked.
Aston have no idea where they came.
Yeah.
Sorry, I do want to talk about one thing.
Go on.
Carlo Pinto did very well.
Yes, Colapinto, he was my driver of the day. Obviously, Leclerc was the driver of the day.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to give Colapinto some.
No, I agree with that one. I think Carlo Pinto was very, very good.
He did fantastic.
He did a fantastic job and will be better than. And the irony being is that he's probably better than Anatoly, but we won't worry about that.
So I'm just trying to see if there's any position changes in the championship. It doesn't look like.
Yeah, Anatoly's gone up. He's probably not on the bottom. Is Colapinto? Sorry,
Colapinto. No, he's still 22nd because Logan Sargent has got an 11th place, whereas Colapinto's got a 12th, and Bottas has got an 11th as well. So he's still in 22nd. So there were no changes to the championship order from that race, and no changes in the Constructors' Championship either. But it is now only 8 points between McLaren and Red Bull. Ferrari only 31 points behind. Ferrari are in the Constructors' Championship fight. And if McLaren keep doing what they're doing, then Ferrari could well pass McLaren. So they need to watch out for that. Mercedes still a long way back, 115 points off Ferrari. So that's not going to happen. Aston Martin on their own, 74 points, a long way behind Mercedes. And then RB, Haas, Alpine, Williams, all in a dogfight. While Sauber kind of look at them and go, we got no points.
I don't know how Sauber are so shit. I can't quite work that one out still.
Just awful.
So just quick recap. We're still waiting for a space. There's still a driver's seat in
Sauber. That's the only one.
Sauber.
Everything else is confirmed now. Every other seat is confirmed.
Why don't they just confirm Bottas?
I mean, I think that would be the right thing to do. Who are the drivers who are in line then? So the options would be Colapinto, Sargent, Colapinto, Sargent, Zhou, Magnussen, and that's it. I think everyone else is.
It'll
confirmed.
Be actually worrying if Colapinto does better than Bottas in the next couple of races.
We are saying that's the places available, but who knows? Red Bull might decide to drop Perez at the end of the year, and if that's the case, then Perez's only option will be to take a year out, unless Sauber are holding on for Perez.
Well,
possible.
There was that rumor going around, wasn't there? That
it's possible that Sauber are holding on. They'll say we're going to make a decision at the end of the year, and then they'll find out what's going on with Perez. Then they might snap Perez up.
But when do they have to call the driver?
They don't have to decide until the first weekend of the new season if they don't want to.
Oh, really? They do a livery show and everything else without a driver?
That's happened before. There's been times in the past where teams have gone through testing and you still don't know who the other driver is. They've had drivers driving through testing, competing against each other to see who gets the race drive.
Oh, wow.
So you don't have to decide. It's not great for the team because you can't plan and you can't, when it comes to marketing and things, you need to know who that driver is. Yeah. So I don't think that'll happen. But if Red Bull are on the verge of sacking Perez, I reckon Sauber might think, we'll just hang on for a minute. Bottas, don't sign that contract just yet. We just give us a few weeks. They'll just hang on and wait and see.
Yeah.
Because then Audi will be well placed then. And that's obviously Sauber is where Perez started his F1 career. So
And I think it'd be interesting. I don't dislike that, but then the question is, who do you put into that Red Bull seat?
Well, it would either be Lawson, Ricardo, or Sonoda.
And then one of those fits into the other gap. Yeah.
They've got the drivers. Then you've got Isaac Hadjar. And then the next one after that looks like it's going to be Arvid Lindblad is the next Red Bull one coming through after that. It looks like. Anyway, driver and dick of the day. You were going to say McLaren for dick of the day, weren't you?
Yeah. Well, maybe Oscar Piastri. Can't decide. Something under Papaya rules. Papaya rules is dick of the day. Whatever the fuck that is.
I am going with RB's front wing guy in the pit stop. Did you see that? When
Ricardo, the guy who touched the...
Yeah, when Ricardo comes in for his pit stop.
I don't think that was a dick move.
He grabbed the wing and it went...
Yeah. To be fair, I don't think that was a dick move. I feel that he was unfortunate. It was a reactionary thing of, fuck me, there's a car coming fast at me. And I'm just going to stop it because that's what I do every other fucking time.
I know, but you had one job, dude, and it was don't touch the car for 5 seconds. Everyone else remembered to. He didn't, so he's dick. So I'm going with the front wing guy on RB. Okay, driver of the day. I mean, we've kind of said that it's Leclerc or Colapinto, isn't it? Take your pick.
I mean, I'm gonna. It's hard because actually Leclerc did an amazing drive. So I'm gonna double driver of the day equal. I can't choose between the two.
Well, I was just gonna say whoever you decide, I'll pick the other one to make it nice and even.
I think they both did great drives and the different circumstances and different things. But I think fair play on Colapinto being thrown in the deep end. And fair play on Leclerc doing an amazing race. And I quite like the black outfits.
Yeah, it's good. Apart from the HP
I thought we were getting a black car. Did I imagine that?
No, that was a concept livery you saw.
Yeah. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah. Cool. Right, let's close this down then. Thanks everyone for listening. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, Owen and David.
Something for this bet.
What? You're going to think something for this bet.
Need to think of a punishment for the bet. Shaving head thing didn't work, and plus it wouldn't really mean anything with you.
One of those.
And one of those. It's another naked podcasting, isn't it?
Grand.
Cool. All right, we'll do that then.
Naked podcast.
Naked host to whoever loses the bet. You heard it here first.
No one wants to fucking see that. Right.
Bye.